What happens when a man decides he's not going to follow the rules, but rewrite them entirely? What kind of mind believes colonizing Mars is not science fiction, but a necessary plan for survival? Who looks at the fossil fuel industry and decides to reinvent how we power the world, then actually does it? Who buys Twitter, breaks it apart, and rebuilds it in the image of his own vision? This isn't just another tech genius story. This is a story about fire, about obsession, about the razor-thin line between brilliance and breakdown. In Elon Musk, published in September 2023, legendary biographer Walter Isaacson, the same mind behind monumental biographies of Steve Jobs, Leonardo da Vinci, and Albert Einstein, turns his lens toward one of the most enigmatic and explosive forces of the modern era, Elon Musk. For over 2 years, Isaacson shadowed Musk, embedding himself in meetings, at rocket launches, and inside the glass walls of his ever-churning mind. He sat through late-night tech storms, witnessed product unveilings at Tesla and SpaceX, and watched Musk push people, sometimes too far, in pursuit of something no one else dared to imagine. But this story goes far beyond boardrooms and balance sheets. We go back to Musk's brutal childhood in apartheid-era South Africa, where he was beaten, bullied, and psychologically shaped by an emotionally abusive father who cast a long, dark shadow. We see a lonely, awkward boy bury himself in sci-fi novels, computers, and dreams of escape, not just from his hometown, but from the very boundaries of this planet. We watch that boy grow into a man who refuses to settle for what is. Musk wants to tear it all down. The auto industry? Too slow. The aerospace giants? Too bloated. Social media? Too censored. Humanity? Too complacent. He builds. He burns bridges. He rebuilds again. Through PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, The Boring Company, and yes, even X, formerly Twitter. Elon Musk has become a one-man revolution factory. He's shaped how we pay, how we drive, how we communicate, and how we dream about the stars. But Walter Isaacson doesn't just show us the empire, he shows us the emperor. The mood swings. The brutal work ethic. The impossible deadlines. The engineers pushed to their limits. The girlfriends and wives left behind. The children caught in the current of a man powered by purpose, and often possessed by demons. And this is why the book matters today, more than ever. In an era obsessed with hustle, disruption, and limitless ambition, Elon Musk forces us to look beyond the headlines and ask the hard questions. Is it worth it? Can greatness and kindness coexist? Is innovation fueled by vision, or by trauma? For you, the professional grinding toward your next milestone, the student chasing clarity in a noisy world, the entrepreneur obsessed with the next big idea, this isn't just a biography. It's a mirror. It's a warning. It's a blueprint. And in some moments, it's a wake-up call. Because the future isn't waiting. It's being built right now, in real time, by flawed, fascinating humans like Elon Musk. And whether we love him or loathe him, one thing is certain, he's not slowing down. And neither is the future he's dragging us toward. Let's dive into part 1, the making of a misfit genius. Before the rockets, before the electric cars, before the billions, there was just a boy. A boy growing up in a fractured home in Pretoria, South Africa. A boy who didn't quite fit in, quiet, awkward, relentlessly curious, and constantly lost in his own head. His name was Elon Musk. And like so many great disruptors, his origin story begins not with triumph, but with trauma. Elon wasn't raised in a warm or nurturing environment. His father, Elon Musk, was a brilliant engineer with a deeply manipulative and often cruel nature. His mother, May Musk, a strikingly independent model and dietitian, tried to keep the peace, but the damage was done early. Elon bore the brunt of a complicated and volatile family dynamic that shaped much of his emotional wiring. He learned to retreat inward. To escape the chaos, he immersed himself in books, epic tales of science fiction, computers, and philosophy. He found solace in code, creating his first video game at just 12. But school was no refuge. Elon was relentlessly bullied. There was one particular beating, so vicious it left him hospitalized. And yet, even in those darkest moments, something in him refused to stay down. Pain, isolation, rejection, they didn't destroy him. They forged something in him. A kind of armor. An obsession with control, with precision, with bending the rules of the world to his will. As he grew, so did his hunger, for knowledge, for a future that felt worthy of his imagination. South Africa, with its political unrest and limited opportunity, was not that future. So at 17, Elon made a break. He left home with almost nothing and headed to Canada, where he began his quest for reinvention. He scraped by doing manual labor, working at farms and lumber mills. But he wasn't there to stay. Canada was just a bridge to America, the land where dreams and technology collided. At the University of Pennsylvania, he double majored in physics and economics. His professors described him as intense, laser-focused, and endlessly inquisitive. Musk wasn't content with getting good grades. He wanted to solve big problems. His conversations revolved around the future of humanity, space exploration, clean energy, and artificial intelligence. He wasn't just thinking about success. He was thinking about survival, about how humans could thrive on other planets, how civilization could be rebooted if Earth collapsed. And underneath it all was a fire. Not just to create, but to prove something. To himself. To his father. To the world. Walter Isaacson captures this early Elon as a young man shaped by pain but driven by a vision so massive it bordered on madness. You begin to see the blueprint of the man he'd become, the merciless work ethic, the intolerance for failure, the obsession with engineering not just machines, but reality itself. This first part of the story reminds us that genius rarely blooms in comfort. It's born in friction, in the sharp edges of childhood trauma, in the silence of being misunderstood, in the unrelenting push to escape where you came from. Elon Musk didn't start his journey with charm or wealth. He started with questions. With pain. With the belief that there had to be something more out there, and the terrifying willingness to go find it. And this is just the beginning. Next is part 2, first sparks of innovation. Let's picture this, it's the mid-90s. The dot-com boom is just getting started. The internet still screeches when you log on, and most people think online shopping is a fad. But in the heart of Silicon Valley, a restless 20-something with a thick South African accent, zero chill, and a head full of crazy ideas shows up with nothing but sheer grit and a belief that he could change the world. That's Elon Musk. He was in Stanford's PhD program for, are you ready? 2 days. Just 2. Because in Elon's mind, the world was moving fast and Stanford wasn't. So he dropped out, laced up his boots, and threw himself straight into the chaos of the internet revolution. Here's where it all begins. Armed with just $28,000 and a dream bigger than his budget, Elon teamed up with his younger brother Kimball and co-founded Zip2. Now, the idea was to build a city guide for newspapers, a mix of Yelp and Google Maps before those even existed. It wasn't flashy, but it was brilliant. And Elon? He wasn't just writing code. He was pouring himself into every single line, sleeping under his desk, and brushing his teeth at the YMCA across the street. This was survival mode. They didn't just believe in Zip2. They lived it. Now imagine being in your 20s, broke, and working 22-hour days, then suddenly landing deals with giants like the New York Times and Knight Ridder. Zip2 exploded, and so did the attention. Venture capitalists came knocking. And while that meant big money, it also meant giving up control. Elon hated that. So when Compaq swooped in and bought Zip2 for $307 million in 1999, it should have been a high-five moment. But for Elon? It was complicated. He made $22 million, yes, but he was cut out before the sale, replaced as CEO. That bruised his ego and left him with one haunting lesson: if you don't control the company, you don't control your vision. So what did he do next? He went bigger. Way bigger. Using nearly all of his earnings, Elon launched X.com, a financial startup with a radical idea: reinvent the entire banking system. Sounds insane, right? But Elon was serious. He wanted to eliminate checks, branches, and bureaucracy, and replace it all with fast, online transfers and digital currency. People thought he was nuts. But he pushed anyway, aggressively, relentlessly, obsessively. Elon wasn't just trying to win, he was trying to disrupt. And X.com quickly merged with another startup called Confinity, which had its own money transfer system, PayPal. And that's where the power struggle began. Elon became CEO of the newly merged company, but his intensity sparked tension. He had a vision, sure, but he also had tunnel vision. He clashed with co-founders, frustrated engineers, and even the board. His insistence on rewriting PayPal's entire codebase, while the company was in mid-flight, nearly wrecked it all. And here's the kicker: while Elon was on vacation, the board staged a coup. They fired him. Again. Another company. Another exit. Another moment of heartbreak. But also, another lesson: vision without the right people around you can become a battlefield. Still, when PayPal sold to eBay in 2002 for $1.5 billion, Elon's payout was massive, about $180 million. And most people? They would have taken that money and disappeared into luxury. But not Elon. This was just his origin story. He didn't want to buy a yacht or an island. He wanted to build rockets. Literally. He wanted to colonize Mars. Create a clean energy future. Put electric cars on every road. He was done playing it safe. This chapter of Musk's life is more than a tech success story. It's about obsession. About being thrown out of the companies you started. About hitting walls and still charging through them. It's about vision, pain, and ego colliding in ways that most people would never survive. But Musk? He took every blow and turned it into fuel. Let's go. Part 3. Reaching for the stars. Imagine this. You've just been kicked out of 2 companies you helped build from the ground up. You've made more money than most people will ever see in their lifetime. You're 30 years old, and the world is basically telling you, relax. You've made it. Chill. But Elon Musk doesn't chill. No, in the middle of this post.com wave, he's doing something that sounds completely bonkers, trying to build a private space company. And not just to send tourists to the moon or satellites into orbit. Elon wants to go all the way, to Mars. Because in his mind, humanity needs a backup plan. Earth, as beautiful and brilliant as it is, won't last forever. And if we want to survive, we need to become a multiplanetary species. Crazy? Maybe. But crazy has always been Musk's favorite currency. So, in 2002, he creates SpaceX, short for Space Exploration Technologies. The goal? Make space travel affordable, reliable, and ultimately, interplanetary. Think about that. This wasn't about bragging rights. It was about purpose. About creating a future that could outlive us all. But let's be real, no one took him seriously at first. Elon was a tech guy, not a rocket scientist. People in the aerospace industry laughed. NASA was skeptical. The media rolled their eyes. Even engineers who joined the company admitted they thought it would fail. But Elon? He was all in. He sank $100 million of his own money into SpaceX. Not investment capital, his own money. That's not just risk. That's obsession. Now let's talk about failure. Because the early days of SpaceX? Brutal. Their first rocket, the Falcon 1, failed, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Each launch ended in disaster. One exploded midair. One spun out of control. Another fell into the ocean. With every failure, the pressure mounted. The money dwindled. The critics got louder. By the 3rd failure, SpaceX was down to its last shot. One more flop, and it was game over. But on the 4th try, against all odds, the Falcon 1 made it. It launched. It reached orbit. And just like that, SpaceX became the first private company in history to put a liquid-fueled rocket into Earth's orbit. That moment? That changed everything. NASA took notice. In 2008, they awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to supply the International Space Station. Suddenly, Elon wasn't just the guy who dreamed of Mars. He was the guy who could actually get us there. But here's where the story really takes off. Elon didn't stop at rockets. He started thinking about reusability. Because one of the biggest problems with space travel is that rockets are used once and then discarded. It's like building a jumbo jet and throwing it away after every flight. So Elon asked the impossible, what if we could land the rocket and use it again? The world said no way. But after years of failures, misfires, and one explosion that nearly destroyed everything, SpaceX nailed it. In 2015, the Falcon 9 rocket lifted off, delivered a payload, and then came back down and landed vertically on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean. It was like watching a sci-fi movie. Only it was real. It was history. And it was Elon Musk, once again, defying every expectation. But it wasn't just about ego. This was strategy. Reusable rockets meant cheaper flights. Cheaper flights meant more launches. More launches meant we could finally build the infrastructure to take humans beyond Earth. By now, SpaceX had become more than a company. It was a symbol of what's possible when you refuse to let failure win. And Elon? He wasn't done yet. So get ready for part 4, Revolution on Wheels. Imagine a time when the auto industry was dominated by a few colossal players. Companies with decades of history and global reach. These were companies that had been around since the 20th century. Companies that had perfected the art of building cars powered by internal combustion engines. The market was set, until Elon Musk, with his vision of a sustainable future, came along and threw a wrench in the gears. It was the early 2000s, and the automotive industry was deep in its comfort zone. Fuel prices were rising, but electric cars were still seen as impractical, with limited range and few buyers. The idea of replacing gasoline-powered vehicles with something that ran on batteries? Unthinkable. Most people didn't even believe electric cars could be sexy or luxurious. And yet, here came Elon Musk, ready to prove everyone wrong. In 2004, Elon joined Tesla Motors, a small company founded by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. But it was his involvement, his vision, that would transform Tesla from a niche project into a revolutionary force in the auto industry. At the time, electric vehicles, EVs, were seen as either glorified golf carts or experimental novelties. But Elon wasn't here for novelties. He wanted to change the world. He poured $6.5 million of his own money into Tesla, eventually becoming the company's largest shareholder, and in 2008, he took over as CEO. Most people thought Elon was crazy. Here was a tech guy, not an auto industry veteran, trying to build a company that would go head-to-head with the likes of Ford, GM, and Toyota. To make things even more intense, he was betting on electric vehicles, an idea that most people thought was impractical. The world was still in love with the roar of gas-powered engines. Electric cars, many believed, were just too expensive, too slow, and too limited in range. But Elon Musk didn't listen to the doubters. He believed that the key to making electric cars a viable option for the masses was performance, style, and luxury, three things that weren't typically associated with electric vehicles at the time. And so, he set out to design a car that would rival the best in the world. He didn't just want an electric car that could get you from point A to point B. No, Elon wanted an electric car that would blow your mind, one that would outperform traditional cars in speed, style, and sustainability. The result? The Tesla Roadster. This car wasn't just another hybrid or electric car. It was a supercar, sleek, sexy, fast, and completely electric. The Tesla Roadster could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds. It had a range of 245 miles on a single charge, something no other electric car at the time could even come close to. At $100,000, it wasn't cheap, but it was everything people didn't think an electric car could be, and that's what made it so disruptive. It was a performance machine that didn't just run on electricity. It redefined what electric cars could be. But launching the Roadster wasn't easy. In fact, it was a monumental risk. In 2008, Tesla was on the brink of collapse. Financial issues, production delays, and the global financial crisis made things even worse. Elon, who had already invested millions of his own money, was on the verge of bankruptcy. The company had gone through 3 CEOs, and many believed Tesla would never survive. But Elon refused to give up. He made a deal with the government and secured a loan that would keep the company afloat. Fast forward to 2012, and Tesla unveils the Model S, a luxury sedan that would truly change the game. The Model S wasn't just about fancy tech and sleek design, it was about practicality. The car boasted a range of 265 miles on a single charge, something most gas-powered cars couldn't even touch. It had self-driving features, a top-of-the-line infotainment system, and an interior that looked and felt like something from the future. Here's where things get even crazier. The Model S wasn't just a car, it was a statement. People began to realize that an electric car didn't have to be eco-friendly, but boring. The Model S was fast, luxurious, and packed with technology. It proved that electric cars could be desirable. The critics who once laughed at Musk's ideas were now eating their words, and customers were lining up to buy the Model S. But Elon Musk didn't stop there. He knew that electric cars would never truly take over unless they were affordable. The Model S was great, but it was still priced out of reach for the average consumer. So, Musk set his sights on something bigger. He wanted to make electric vehicles that everyone could afford, and he set out to create the Model 3, a car that would make electric cars accessible to the masses. Tesla faced serious challenges with production delays, quality control issues, and financial struggles, but Elon Musk pushed through. Despite the hurdles, the Model 3 became the best-selling electric car in the world, signaling that Tesla was here to stay. But Elon's vision didn't stop at electric cars. His ambition was to build a sustainable future, and that meant changing the way we think about energy altogether. He didn't just want to sell cars, he wanted to change the world. In the next part of this journey, we'll dive into how Musk expanded Tesla's mission to include solar energy storage, and his grand vision for a sustainable planet. This wasn't just about selling cars anymore, it was about creating a world where humans didn't rely on fossil fuels. And trust me, you won't want to miss how Elon Musk took on the energy industry next. Get ready for Part 5, Electrifying the World, where Elon Musk's vision goes beyond cars, reaching into the very infrastructure of energy itself. This is where the mission expands, becoming not just about electric cars but about transforming the entire energy landscape. At this point, Tesla is more than just a car company, it's a pioneer in the clean energy revolution. Musk has always been known for pushing the boundaries of what's possible, but now he's stepping into an even bigger arena, the world of energy production, storage, and consumption. In 2008, while Tesla was still in its infancy, Musk saw the global energy crisis looming. He recognized that as the world became more industrialized, the need for sustainable energy solutions would only grow. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that in order to achieve his long-term goals, he needed to revolutionize more than just electric vehicles, he needed to revolutionize the energy grid. The first step? Launching SolarCity, a company Musk co-founded with his cousins, Lyndon and Peter Rive. SolarCity was initially intended to make solar energy more accessible to homeowners, businesses, and utilities. But Musk's ambitions for SolarCity were far from modest. He envisioned a world where solar energy could be generated on a massive scale, stored, and used efficiently. His belief in the potential of solar power wasn't just ideological, it was practical. Solar power, he argued, could be the solution to humanity's energy problems. However, SolarCity wasn't just about installing solar panels on rooftops. Musk wanted to create a comprehensive energy ecosystem that would allow people to generate their own energy, store it, and then use it with minimal environmental impact. This led to the second step of his energy revolution, creating a cutting-edge battery storage system. And so, Tesla's energy division was born. Musk introduced the Powerwall, a home battery designed to store solar energy and provide electricity when the sun wasn't shining. Think of it like a power bank for your house, but on a much larger scale. The Powerwall was revolutionary in its simplicity. It allowed homes to store energy during the day and use it at night. This battery, Musk believed, could make homes independent of the grid, and eventually reduce the need for fossil fuels. But Musk's vision didn't stop at residential use. He wanted to create larger-scale energy storage solutions for businesses and utilities. This led to the creation of the Power Pack, a modular version of the Powerwall, designed for commercial and industrial use. The Power Pack would allow businesses to store energy generated by solar panels and use it when needed, reducing their reliance on traditional power sources. One of Musk's biggest moves was to combine Tesla's electric vehicles and energy solutions into a single unified vision. The Gigafactory, Tesla's massive battery manufacturing plant, became the heart of this vision. The Gigafactory wasn't just about producing batteries for cars. It was about producing batteries at a scale that would make sustainable energy solutions affordable and scalable for everyone. And just when you think Musk couldn't dream bigger, he did. He envisioned a worldwide interconnected grid that would allow energy to be stored and distributed globally. Imagine, he said, a world where every building, home, and business could generate its own clean energy and store it for future use. Solar panels on every roof, batteries in every home, and electric cars on every road. This was Musk's grand vision, a vision that would reduce humanity's reliance on fossil fuels and transform the world. But let's be real. Musk's bold ideas were met with skepticism. Critics said it was unrealistic, and that solar power and battery storage were too expensive, and that the world wasn't ready for such a massive shift in energy consumption. But Elon didn't back down. He doubled down on his belief that humanity's future depended on clean energy. In 2016, Tesla made a game-changing move by acquiring SolarCity, combining two of his biggest projects, electric vehicles and solar energy, under one roof. Musk now had a single company that could provide a full energy solution: solar power, battery storage, and electric vehicles. The acquisition was controversial, but it made perfect sense in Musk's long-term vision. With the integration of SolarCity, Tesla could now offer a complete sustainable energy ecosystem, and Elon was setting the stage for a future where energy could be created, stored, and used without harming the planet. He was no longer just a car maker. He was reshaping the entire energy infrastructure of the world. As the years went on, Tesla's innovations didn't stop. They continued to make strides in battery technology, reducing costs, increasing efficiency, and producing longer-lasting batteries. Meanwhile, Tesla's solar products were becoming more efficient and affordable, with the introduction of products like the solar roof, which combined solar panels with roofing materials. But Musk's vision for the future was never about just one company. He knew that in order to truly change the world, other companies, governments, and institutions had to join the effort. Tesla's success wasn't just about competition, it was about collaboration, creating a world that relied on clean, renewable energy. Musk saw himself as part of a larger movement, one that could potentially save the planet from the ravages of climate change and environmental destruction. By 2020, Tesla wasn't just an electric car company, it was a full-fledged energy enterprise. The company was building energy storage products that could rival the grid itself, and solar power was starting to become a mainstream solution, all thanks to Elon's determination. He'd created a model that could transform energy consumption, from the way we power our homes to the way we fuel our transportation. But the battle wasn't over yet. In Part 6, we'll look at how Elon Musk faced the great challenges and setbacks that came with pushing his mission forward. Tesla had grown into one of the most valuable companies in the world, but the road ahead would be paved with obstacles. But Elon, being Elon, was ready to face them head-on, and we'll explore just how he managed to keep his vision alive. Next is Part 6, Scaling the Impossible. We dive into one of the most pivotal phases of Elon Musk's journey, the struggles and breakthroughs that came with scaling his vision to a global level. This part of the story is all about overcoming monumental setbacks, dealing with financial hurdles, and battling against the naysayers who couldn't fathom what Musk was trying to achieve. When we think of Elon Musk, we often envision him as a visionary who always seems to find success. But the truth is, his path has been fraught with struggles, particularly during the early years of Tesla. While many admire the electric vehicle revolution Musk spearheaded, the journey was never smooth. Musk wasn't just building electric cars, he was trying to build an entirely new automotive industry, energy infrastructure, and business model, all while battling competing industries that were deeply entrenched in traditional fossil fuels and gasoline-powered vehicles. In the early 2010s, Tesla was on the verge of collapse. The company was bleeding cash, facing production delays, and struggling to meet its production targets. Musk had to make some tough decisions. Tesla was running out of money, and fast. In 2013, Tesla was still a niche company, and investors were highly skeptical of Musk's promises. The company was making only a few thousand cars a year, and the cost of production was high. Musk's vision for mass-market electric vehicles seemed to be a long way off. During this time, the media and Wall Street were ruthless in their criticism. They were constantly questioning whether Tesla could survive. Reports of production delays, cash flow problems, and issues with the Model S were prominent in the press. Musk's reputation was on the line, and investors were beginning to question whether he had what it took to lead the company through the storm. Musk wasn't the type to back down from adversity. Instead of letting the pressure crush him, he doubled down on his efforts. He famously put his own personal wealth on the line. At one point, Musk borrowed money from his own funds to keep Tesla afloat, a high-risk move that could have ruined him financially. But he had no choice. He had poured everything he had into his vision, and he believed in it more than anyone else. For Musk, failure wasn't an option. Despite these odds, Musk pressed forward. In 2013, he unveiled Tesla's master plan, a roadmap outlining his ambitious vision for the company's future. The plan included a focus on producing affordable electric cars, building out a network of charging stations, and expanding Tesla's energy storage solutions. Musk's vision was grander than just cars. It was about creating an entirely new, sustainable ecosystem that connected energy generation, storage, and consumption, all powered by renewable resources. One of the key moments in scaling Tesla was the launch of the Model 3. The Model 3 was Musk's answer to the critics who said that electric cars would never be affordable for the average consumer. The Model 3 was supposed to be the game-changer, the car that would put Tesla on the map and show the world that electric vehicles weren't just for the wealthy elite but could be a viable option for the masses. But even the Model 3, which had immense demand, proved to be a massive challenge. Production hell. That's how Musk described the period when Tesla was trying to ramp up production of the Model 3. Despite huge demand, Tesla was struggling to meet production targets, and the delays seemed endless. Musk famously worked long hours, sleeping on the factory floor, doing everything he could to keep the company moving forward. The pressures were intense, both internally, with his team of engineers and workers, and externally, with investors and customers breathing down his neck. But Musk didn't give up. Instead of sticking with conventional manufacturing processes, he decided to take a more radical approach. He automated parts of the production process and redefined what it meant to produce cars at scale. The Model 3's production hell wasn't just a tale of struggle. It was a story of Musk's unyielding commitment to innovation. While other CEOs would have given up and taken a more traditional approach, Musk refused to be constrained by the status quo. Eventually, through sheer determination and innovation, Tesla began to deliver Model 3 vehicles in significant numbers. The car became a game-changer, and Tesla's stock price skyrocketed as demand surged. By 2020, Tesla had reached unprecedented levels of production and sales, becoming one of the most valuable automakers in the world. But even then, Musk was pushing the boundaries further. He had no intentions of stopping. Beyond the car manufacturing, Musk set his sights on global expansion. Tesla began building gigafactories around the world to meet the increasing demand for electric vehicles and energy products. The gigafactories would allow Tesla to scale its production and bring down the costs of its products, making sustainable energy solutions more affordable for everyone. By 2020, Tesla's gigafactories were producing batteries, solar products, and electric vehicles at an unprecedented scale. Musk's resilience in the face of adversity is truly a key to understanding his success. His willingness to risk everything, to go all in, and to push the boundaries of what's possible is what allowed him to overcome the massive challenges that came with scaling Tesla. Every setback he faced was an opportunity to grow, to innovate, and to find a better way forward. Let's dive in Part 7, the global transformation. We witness Elon Musk's journey take a profound shift as his influence moves beyond the automotive and space industries and begins to shape entire global markets. It's no longer just about building electric cars or launching rockets. It's about reshaping entire systems. Energy systems, transportation networks, urban planning, and even the global internet infrastructure. Musk has long believed in the power of technology to solve humanity's biggest challenges. But as we enter this part of the story, we see the true scale of his ambitions. Musk isn't just aiming to build great companies. He is setting out to change the course of history, to make the world more sustainable, more interconnected, and more resilient to the challenges of the future. Take Tesla, for instance. By the time we reach the mid-2020s, Tesla is no longer just an electric car company. Tesla has transformed into a global leader in energy innovation, driven by Musk's vision for a sustainable future. The gigafactories, which were once mere production facilities, have evolved into hubs of clean energy innovation. Battery storage, solar energy, and solar roofs have become as integral to Tesla's identity as the cars they produce. Through Tesla's technology, Musk aims to solve two major problems: climate change and the global dependence on fossil fuels. His goal is to make the transition to renewable energy as easy and as economical as possible. And Tesla is far from the only company pushing for this green revolution. Musk's SolarCity acquisition in 2016 integrated solar energy into Tesla's ecosystem, laying the groundwork for a world where solar panels, battery storage, and electric vehicles all operate seamlessly together. As the years pass, Tesla begins to reshape global energy production and distribution. Powerwall, Tesla's energy storage system, becomes the go-to solution for homeowners and businesses to store energy generated from solar power. Meanwhile, Tesla's electric vehicles, EVs, continue to gain massive adoption worldwide, pushing the entire automobile industry to switch gears and focus on sustainability and zero-emissions vehicles. But Elon Musk doesn't stop there. As Tesla's mission unfolds, Musk begins to turn his attention toward creating a sustainable future for transportation beyond just cars. In 2017, he unveiled the Tesla Semi, an all-electric big rig that promised to revolutionize the freight industry by reducing emissions and lowering operating costs for long-haul truckers. This innovation would dramatically cut the carbon footprint of freight transport, one of the largest contributors to global emissions. Yet, the real game-changer was the Hyperloop. Musk introduced the concept of the Hyperloop in 2013, envisioning a high-speed transportation system that would send people and goods traveling in airless tubes at speeds of up to 760 miles per hour. While several companies have pursued the idea, Musk's vision for faster, more efficient transportation has opened the door for rethinking how we move, not just in cities, but across continents. If realized, the Hyperloop could revolutionize global travel and reduce reliance on fossil-fueled airplanes. And of course, we cannot talk about Musk's global transformation without mentioning SpaceX. In this part of the story, SpaceX emerges as a major player not only in space exploration, but also in the effort to make human life multiplanetary. SpaceX's mission to colonize Mars is ambitious, but it is also grounded in Musk's belief that humanity must establish a backup plan for survival in case of planetary catastrophes. The company's innovative approach to reusable rockets has drastically lowered the cost of launching payloads into space. Through the success of the Falcon rockets and the Dragon spacecraft, SpaceX has become the undisputed leader in space exploration. By the early 2020s, SpaceX had achieved unprecedented milestones, such as sending astronauts to the International Space Station and launching Starship, the vehicle designed for deep space exploration and Mars missions. Mars colonization is Musk's most audacious goal, and he believes it is not just a scientific pursuit, but a moral necessity. The drive to make humanity a multiplanetary species could be one of the most significant legacies Musk leaves behind. But while Musk's ventures are vast and ambitious, they also come with their fair share of risks. We cannot forget that the future is uncertain, and Musk's efforts to disrupt multiple industries have made him a target for criticism from all corners. Tesla's stock price volatility, the regulatory hurdles SpaceX faces, and the skepticism surrounding Musk's broader goals for interplanetary colonization continue to provide challenges. Yet, Musk's relentless focus on long-term vision has enabled him to keep moving forward, regardless of the challenges. But what truly sets Musk apart is his unwavering confidence in his vision and his ability to rally others around it. In this part of the story, Musk becomes not just a businessman but a global leader in the quest to build a sustainable, interconnected future. In Part 8, The Struggle for Balance, we delve deep into the tension that grows as Elon Musk's ambitious projects reach critical mass. It's no longer about one company or one mission. By this stage in Musk's journey, his various ventures, Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company, Neuralink, and even his efforts with Twitter, now X, are all colliding in a way that demands constant attention, immense mental energy, and sometimes, compromise. Musk has always been known for his relentless work ethic, a commitment to the 10x rule, where he believes that sacrificing personal comfort is necessary to achieve exponential goals. But now, as the stakes rise, we see just how difficult it is for Musk to balance the demands of his multi-billion-dollar empire. At the heart of this struggle lies Tesla, the company that has not only become synonymous with electric vehicles, but also the epitome of Musk's broader vision for a sustainable future. In 2021, Tesla becomes the most valuable automaker in the world, but it's a throne Musk struggles to keep. Despite global growth and increasing demand for electric vehicles, the company faces constant supply chain disruptions, regulatory scrutiny, and stiff competition from both traditional automakers and new EV startups. Musk's ability to stay focused on the big picture, especially in the face of mounting pressure, is nothing short of remarkable. However, this pressure begins to wear him down. We witness Musk juggling interviews, public appearances, and high-profile launches, all while trying to keep SpaceX's mission of Mars colonization alive and well. SpaceX, which began as a small and relatively obscure private space company, is now competing with NASA, taking on high-profile contracts, and advancing toward human space travel. But here too, Musk encounters enormous hurdles. The dream of reaching Mars remains incredibly ambitious, and although SpaceX achieves a massive breakthrough with its Starship prototype, the journey is fraught with setbacks, failures, and unexpected delays. Meanwhile, the Boring Company, his tunnel drilling venture, faces criticism for being too niche while competing with far bigger, entrenched companies in the transportation infrastructure space. The idea of building underground tunnels to reduce urban congestion is bold, but it seems too outlandish for many, and Musk's relentless focus on bringing innovative solutions to life leads to frequent frustrations. Neuralink, Musk's company devoted to advancing brain-computer interface technology, also emerges as a point of struggle. The goal of creating technology that allows the brain to directly interface with machines, to treat neurological diseases and eventually to enhance human cognition, is profound. But it's incredibly difficult work, with complex scientific hurdles that test even Musk's unyielding resolve. One of the most significant challenges, though, occurs when Musk decides to purchase Twitter in 2022. Musk believes that free speech and open dialogue are essential to the survival of democracy, and he sees Twitter as the perfect platform to foster this. His acquisition, however, triggers a whirlwind of controversy and challenges. Staff layoffs, shifting content moderation policies, and a change in the platform's vision spark a massive public debate about the future of social media. As we get deeper into Part 8, we begin to witness Musk's inner conflict, how he wrestles with his intense desire for revolutionary change while realizing the limits of his influence. The pressure to maintain balance between his companies, his personal life, and his social media presence takes its toll. Musk has always been a disruptor, but this part of the story forces him to reckon with the sacrifices that come with being on the cutting edge of multiple industries. This constant juggling act brings new levels of scrutiny on Musk. Public opinions about him swing wildly, from admiration for his visionary leadership to criticism for his sometimes erratic behavior, especially on Twitter. There are moments when his public persona seems to overshadow his company's successes, and he must navigate the difficult reality of managing such vast and diverse ventures. Yet, Musk never wavers from his fundamental beliefs. He continues to push the boundaries of what's possible, unrelenting in his pursuit of building a sustainable, technologically advanced future. And while his leadership style can be intense and unorthodox, we begin to understand that Musk's greatest asset is his vision for humanity's future. As we approach the final chapters, we see that Musk's struggles are far from over. The quest for balance continues, but one thing is clear: no matter the challenges, Musk is relentlessly determined to reshape the future, and his vision remains uncompromising. Next is Part 9, Legacy in the Making. We take a step back to consider the legacy Elon Musk is building, one that will likely be debated, dissected, and discussed for generations to come. Musk, a man who has revolutionized not just the automotive industry, but also space exploration, energy, and social media, finds himself at a crossroads. His personal empire is vast, and with each passing year, his influence becomes even more pervasive in shaping the future of humanity. As Tesla, SpaceX, and his other ventures continue to make waves, Musk is increasingly being regarded as more than just a business mogul. He's becoming a symbol of what's possible when someone dares to imagine the impossible. The Hyperloop concept, space travel, electric vehicles, and solar energy aren't just business ventures to Musk. They're part of his vision to ensure that humanity doesn't just survive but thrives in an increasingly uncertain world. This vision isn't free from controversy, though. Musk's ideas have often been dismissed as too radical, and his methods as unorthodox or even reckless. Yet, he has proven, time and again, that bold risks can yield extraordinary rewards. His critics, however, question the sustainability of some of his ventures. With SpaceX still working toward its long-term goal of colonizing Mars, many wonder whether Musk's ambition is overly ambitious, or if he is genuinely on the brink of changing human history. But Musk's commitment to solving global challenges remains relentless. He views his companies and projects as vehicles not just for profit, but for progress. Tesla's mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy has already made a profound impact on the way the world thinks about transportation, power, and the environment. The company's growth has far surpassed what many thought possible for an electric vehicle manufacturer. Meanwhile, SpaceX's Starship development continues to push the boundaries of interplanetary travel, and Musk's ultimate goal of establishing a human presence on Mars remains one of the most ambitious plans in modern history. However, it's not just about technology or products. Musk's legacy is also about his impact on the human spirit. His unwavering commitment to the ideal of a better future, regardless of the personal cost, resonates deeply with those who believe that true change comes from breaking barriers and challenging the status quo. Musk is an embodiment of the entrepreneurial spirit that refuses to accept limitations and dares to aim for something larger than life. Yet, as we look closer at the mankind-changing legacy Musk is constructing, we also have to examine the toll it has taken on him. The personal sacrifices, the toll on his health, the loneliness, and the burnout that can come with such relentless ambition. Even though Musk has achieved the impossible in many ways, there are deep questions surrounding whether this sacrificial path is sustainable, and whether his personal well-being can be reconciled with the insatiable hunger for progress that defines his every move. As Musk continues to make headlines with his bold public statements, his attempts to reshape society, and his role in driving innovative technologies, one thing becomes clear: his legacy will not be easily boxed into a single narrative. For some, Musk will always be a visionary genius, a disruptor whose ideas challenged the status quo and built the foundations of a more sustainable, interconnected world. For others, he may remain a controversial figure, someone whose methods were as divisive as they were groundbreaking. But the ultimate question remains: what will be the true measure of Musk's legacy? Will it be the revolutionary technologies he brought into being, or the global changes he set in motion? Will it be the Mars colonies, or the energy revolution, or perhaps the societal shifts that come with Neuralink's progress? Only time will tell. Finally, Part 10, The Future, Musk's Impact, and a World Transformed. As we step into the final part of this deep dive into Elon Musk's extraordinary life, we confront the most pressing question of all: what comes next? Not just for Musk, but for the entire world he's worked so tirelessly to shape. The future Musk envisions is one of profound transformation, a future that's no longer limited by the boundaries of what we think is possible today. This part is a reflection, not only of Musk's legacy but also of the world he's helping to create, and the profound impact his work will have on generations to come. Musk has always been driven by a relentless pursuit of things that seem impossible. Things that challenge the status quo, defy expectations, and push the limits of technology. For Musk, it's never been about incremental progress. It's been about visionary leaps forward. And as we look at where he stands now, his ventures don't just stand at the edge of technological advancement. They're at the very front lines of what could be humanity's greatest breakthroughs. Take SpaceX, for example. Musk's goal of colonizing Mars may have seemed like a science fiction fantasy just a few decades ago, but thanks to SpaceX's relentless drive and innovation, the impossible is becoming increasingly plausible. We've already seen the launch and successful return of astronauts to the International Space Station aboard SpaceX's Dragon capsule, and Musk's next step is the Starship project, a fully reusable spacecraft designed for interplanetary travel. Imagine the possibilities. Humans not just visiting other planets, but actually living on them. A multiplanetary existence could safeguard the survival of humanity, especially considering the existential threats facing Earth, whether from asteroids, climate change, or pandemics. Musk has been working toward becoming a species capable of surviving not just on Earth, but beyond it. Yet, it's not just about the science fiction-like allure of space travel. Musk's philosophy is centered around a deeper concern: human survival. The desire to take humanity off Earth isn't motivated by a reckless need to escape, but rather by a strategic vision that could one day protect civilization. Musk's work to get people to Mars is not an act of desperation, but a deliberate, calculated effort to secure the long-term future of humanity. Starship is just one tool in Musk's vision for a safer, more sustainable future, where humanity's reach is far greater than our immediate surroundings. On the ground, Tesla remains the heart of Musk's sustainability mission. In the battle against climate change, there's no more important fight than shifting the global transportation system from one that depends on fossil fuels to one that relies on renewable energy. Through Tesla's success, Musk has not only changed the way we think about electric vehicles, but he has also set in motion a revolution in energy production, storage, and consumption. Tesla's power walls and solar roofs have already begun to change how we think about energy in our homes and businesses. But it doesn't stop there. Musk's ultimate goal is to create a world where energy is clean, affordable, and sustainable, and Tesla is leading the charge. Then there's Neuralink, Musk's audacious effort to fuse biology and technology. Neuralink's brain-machine interface has the potential to revolutionize everything we know about human cognition. Imagine a world where brain injuries can be repaired, where paralysis is no longer an absolute, where neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's can be prevented or even cured. Neuralink could unlock the potential of the human brain in ways we can't even begin to fathom yet. But more than that, it could redefine what it means to be human. Musk's interest isn't just in treating diseases, it's about enhancing the very human experience. Even the Boring Company, which some see as Musk's more quirky, less serious venture, has the potential to radically reshape urban life. Musk's vision for underground transportation systems, using tunnels to ease congestion and improve mobility, could solve one of the most pressing challenges facing modern cities: traffic. As the world's cities continue to grow at an unprecedented rate, the need for smarter, more sustainable solutions to urban transportation has never been more urgent. Musk's tunnel systems are designed to create faster, more efficient travel, reducing not only commute times but also the environmental impact of traditional transportation methods. But let's not forget the most recent acquisition that has sent shockwaves through the media and tech world: Twitter, now X. Musk's transformation of this social media platform represents his broader interest in shaping the future of communication. In his view, social media platforms must not just serve as spaces for sharing opinions and entertainment, but as forums for free speech, debate, and open dialogue. Through his acquisition, Musk seeks to transform X into something more than just a platform. It's a global conversation hub, a space where all voices have the freedom to be heard, and where ideas can be exchanged without censorship. As we look toward the future, the question remains: what is Elon Musk's legacy? Will he be remembered as an eccentric billionaire who used his fortune to revolutionize technology and expand humanity's reach into space? Or will history mark him as the person who took humanity to a place no one thought possible? What's undeniable is that Musk is already cementing his place as a visionary, someone whose contributions will resonate far beyond his lifetime. But for all his remarkable accomplishments, there are inevitable challenges ahead. Musk's ventures are incredibly ambitious, but ambition alone doesn't guarantee success. His companies face competition, regulatory hurdles, and the need to scale up in ways that will test Musk's leadership and the resilience of his team. Personal and professional sacrifices will continue to be part of the journey, but if there's one thing Musk has proven, it's that he thrives under pressure. His ability to turn setbacks into comebacks is one of the defining characteristics of his story. The road ahead for Elon Musk may be filled with unknowns, but it's clear that his vision will continue to shape the world in profound ways. His work has already left an indelible mark on technology, sustainability, space exploration, and the human experience. What he does next may very well change the course of history in ways we can't yet predict. The future Musk is working to create may still be in its early stages, but one thing is clear: it's a future in which anything seems possible. And as we wrap up this exploration of his life and work, we can't help but ask, what will we do with the possibilities he's opened up for all of us? As Musk himself would say, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." The future is still in the making, and Musk's story is far from over. The world he is shaping is one that's bold, unpredictable, and filled with promise, a world where innovation is the key to a better future. And in that world, Elon Musk will remain a central figure, challenging us to think bigger, to dream more audaciously, and to never settle for anything less than the impossible. As we conclude our journey through Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson, it's clear that Musk's story offers more than just incredible achievements. It's a blueprint for thinking big, resilience, and purpose. Musk's relentless pursuit of a vision without limits is a powerful reminder that we can all think beyond the conventional. Whether it's launching rockets into space or transforming industries, his work shows that big dreams are achievable with the right mindset. Failure, instead of being feared, is something Musk embraces as a stepping stone, a chance to learn, adapt, and keep pushing forward. At the core of his success is purpose. Musk isn't driven by wealth or fame. He's motivated by the desire to make an impact, whether it's solving climate change or making humanity multiplanetary. His example shows us that true success comes from aligning your work with something that matters, something that outlasts personal gain. Musk's incredible work ethic and sacrifices speak volumes. His story encourages us to put in the effort, face the challenges head-on, and never give up, even when it seems impossible. But it's not just about individual effort. Musk surrounds himself with brilliant minds who challenge and elevate his vision. Collaboration is a cornerstone of his success. One of the most powerful lessons Musk offers is the value of resilience. His ability to stay focused and keep going, even through setbacks, is what keeps him moving forward. If we can adopt this same resilience in our own lives, there's no limit to what we can achieve. Finally, Musk's journey reminds us that no problem is too big. He tackles the world's most challenging issues head-on, from sustainability to space exploration. It's a call to action for all of us. Seek out the big challenges and dare to dream big. Musk teaches us that self-belief is key. No matter the doubts or setbacks, staying true to your vision and believing in yourself is the foundation for achieving greatness. His story inspires us to push boundaries, question the status quo, and never stop pursuing our dreams. The future belongs to those who dare to make the impossible possible. If you found this summary insightful and valuable, don't forget to show your support by subscribing to the Mindful Brief on YouTube. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this audiobook summary, share it with your peers, friends, or family who might benefit from it, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. Your engagement helps us create more in-depth and valuable content for you. Stay tuned for more summaries, insights, and strategies to elevate your knowledge and career. Subscribe now and be part of the journey.